Hello, this is Jinju at kimchimarie.com. Today we're going to make Injeolmi Korean sweet rice cake in just 10 minutes or less. Here's the ingredients. This rice cake is soft, it's chewy, it's just mildly sweet and also nutty because of this wonderful roasted soybean flour that we're going to use to coat with. So first we're going to spread about 1/4 cup of the roasted soybean flour onto a pan. I think I used a little more than that here, but I ended up not needing all that much, so 1/4 cup should be just enough. And then we're going to sprinkle some sugar for extra flavor. That's optional. Also some sea salt. Now let's get started. So we're going to use sweet rice flour, also called mochiko flour, 2 cups of that, about 2 tablespoons of sugar, and you can adjust that to taste, a teaspoon of sea salt, and we're going to mix all the dry ingredients first. Then we're going to add about 1.25 cups of water. Room temperature water is fine. Then we're going to mix it. And when you mix it, it seems like it's not mixing well in the beginning, but just keep doing it and make sure you get all the dry flour incorporated, because as you can see at the bottom of this bowl, there's still some dry flour left, that left corner. So just keep mixing until everything is wet. And now when it's all mixed, you can see that it has this kind of consistency. It's definitely thicker than like a pancake batter, but it's still quite loose. Then we're going to cover it with a plastic wrap. So here we should be using a microwave safe bowl. I'm using a glass bowl there. So we microwave for 2 minutes and see how it's almost gonna pop, but that should not happen. So now we're going to uncover it, and when you do it, be careful. The steam is really hot, so stay to the edge of the bowl as you uncover it. And you can see that some parts of it got cooked, but then there's a whole area that did not get cooked at all. So what we need to do here is we need to mix it so the uncooked parts come to the top and the cooked parts get mixed in the center or to the bottom. So just make sure they're all very nicely, evenly mixed. And if you can, smooth out the top a little bit so that it cooks evenly. Then we're going to cover it one more time with a plastic wrap. And then we're going to microwave high 2 more minutes. And now you can see that it's cooked even more. And see all that steam coming up. So again, be careful. Then we're going to mix it one more time. And there'll be another time after this, but anyway, so be careful. Now it's getting even more hot. So use a spatula to mix it all together. This Injeolmi or Korean rice cake is a classic Korean duck that people just love to eat for breakfast, for lunch, for snack. Maybe not for lunch, but definitely good item for breakfast and snack or dessert. And you can read more in my blog post, but it's also supposed to be beneficial for your stomach. It's great in treating acidic stomachs, so read more about that. Okay, so we covered it one last time and we cooked it in the microwave on high for 1 more minute. And so then we're done in terms of cooking it. So now have a bowl of water ready, and now it's becoming very sticky. So it's nice to wet your spatula in between mixing. And this is where traditionally it was pounded with a wooden mallet called tteokme. And here's a picture that I found. This is how it was made, an old-fashioned way. You pound the steamed sweet rice with that huge wooden mallet until it becomes stuck like this here. So we're all done, nicely kneaded. See how nice and stretchy it is. It's a little hard to get it all off the bowl, but you know, you just do the best you can. You can go back later and scrape all of that out too. So coat the other spatula with water, and that helps to get the duck off the spatula, because otherwise, you know, you can get onto your hands and just everywhere. Now it's still very hot, so we're going to wet our hands with the plastic gloves on. The duck is really hot, so be careful. So the water helps to protect your hands from burning, but it also helps to stretch out the rice cake. Also adds moisture, which makes it more soft. So keep spreading it out. And this pan keeps rotating. I should have put some towel underneath, but anyway. So keep spreading out until it gets to the size that you want, the thickness basically. Then cover the top with more soybean powder or flour. And now it's all done. It's all ready. And all we need to do is just cut this duck. Scissors works best. You can do it with a knife too. But what I do is I just use scissors and cut them into long strips first. And then you cut them into individual rectangles or squares or whatever size you prefer. Now notice the sides are still exposed. So we want to coat that with soybean flour. And you just saw how nice and stretchy our duck is and moist. So make sure all the sides are covered, because otherwise it can dry up. So now just continue to cut into strips and then cut into squares and then coat. And the tip here is that you should coat as soon as you cut them, because otherwise once they become dry, the soybean flour won't stick to the duck as nicely. So do it in, alternately, right? So cut and then coat. And this is the thickness that I want. Oh, and notice how there's some areas that didn't get coated. Well, that's because the duck dried up before the flour got onto it. And a solution to that is just rub those dry parts with some water, and it will the soybean flour will stick to them again. And now we're all done. See how wonderful these ducks are. They're just best when they're fresh. And here's a little slow-mo of showing the soybean flour being sprinkled on top after it's plated, just for some extra nuttiness. There are more tips on my blog post about storage, how to reheat them. Freezing is the best way to keep them as fresh as possible. And then there's several options for reheating. Well, I hope you enjoyed making injeolmi with me. Now don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also check out my blog. More recipes coming. Bye!